A woman is accusing Diddy Combs of and her when she was 16 years old in 2000.
In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Diddy Combs.
Y'all, my dear viewers, brace yourselves for what might be the most jaw-dropping twist in Diddy Combs' ongoing saga. The stunning disappearance of Janice Combs, his beloved mother, has left everyone absolutely speechless. The burning question on everyone's minds: what could possibly drive a mother, who's been her son's most fierce defender, to vanish into thin air? Trust me, this story has everything. Dark secrets, whispered scandals, and revelations that could shatter everything we thought we knew. So settle in, because we're about to take you on an absolutely wild journey into a family crisis that's as fascinating as it is deeply disturbing. The bombshell news hit us like a ton of bricks earlier this week. Janice Combs, the matriarch of the Combs dynasty, has fled the country. Yes, you read that correctly. The very woman who's been Diddy's rock through his turbulent career and recent legal storms has seemingly evaporated into thin air. And let me tell you, this wasn't your typical "I need a vacation" departure. This was calculated, secretive, leaving even her closest confidants absolutely baffled. And here's the thing, this isn't just someone taking an extended holiday. Something feels off, almost as if she's running scared. But what or who could make a mother abandon everything? Just weeks ago, Janice was front and center, passionately defending her son. She boldly called the allegations against Diddy a public lynching and pleaded with everyone to reserve judgment until hearing his side. She seemed ready to go to war for her son. So what changed? That's the million-dollar question. And the answers might be lurking in shadows of her past.
You know, that kind of environment growing up in is going to have an impact on a child growing up. Now, it doesn't make excuses for what people do in adulthood, and the form that can take really depends on a lot of different things, including things such as what are the family values? Are the family values about, being open and honest about things? Or if there's trauma in a family, do families deal with it? Or how is that child raised?
Let me spill some piping hot tea about those whispers surrounding Janice's connection to Diddy's alleged misdeeds. For years, there have been hushed conversations about these wild parties she hosted at their Mount Vernon home when Diddy was just a child. And let me tell you, these weren't your typical neighborhood barbecues. According to childhood friends who've recently spoken out in shocking documentaries, these gatherings were absolutely outrageous. Tim Patterson, who's known Diddy forever, described these nights in the most disturbing terms imaginable. He revealed that children would stumble upon scenes that no young eyes should ever witness. Even more chilling, Patterson suggested that growing up in such an environment might have planted the seeds for the very behaviors Diddy stands accused of today.
According to the Rolling Stone, the doc features an alleged childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim "Dog" Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having that was just their normal.
Now, here's where things get really complicated, darlings. Janice has always been painted as this fiercely protective mother, someone who moved heaven and earth to give her son a better life. She got him into the best private schools, kept him dressed like a little prince, and moved the family to greener pastures after the devastating loss of Diddy's father. But how do we reconcile this image of the devoted mother with those infamous parties? Was she desperately trying to provide for her son by any means necessary, even if it meant turning a blind eye to the chaos swirling around them? Or, and this is where it gets really juicy, was she more deeply entangled in that lifestyle than anyone ever dared to imagine?
Talking about the parties, Tim says, verbatim, "That's what we were privy to. This was what we were fed. Was it desensitizing us? I'm sure it was. Were we aware of it? No, that was just Saturday night." In the doc, per Rolling Stone, this type of childhood is alleged to be why Tim, the longtime friend of Diddy's, Puff believes that Puff found himself in the position he is in now.
And darlings, let's talk about the timing of her vanishing act. Just as the heat on Diddy's legal troubles started reaching boiling point, more accusers stepping forward, damning documentaries hitting the airwaves, and poof, Janice disappears. Coincidence? I think not. Industry insiders are already whispering that her sudden departure might be a desperate attempt to avoid being dragged into the legal spotlight. After all, if those childhood parties were truly as wild as they say, who knows what she might be forced to reveal under oath? But wait, it gets even juicier. According to my impeccable sources, Janice didn't just slip away quietly. She allegedly took a substantial amount of money with her, money that Diddy desperately needs right now for his mounting legal battles. If true, this raises so many questions about her motives. Was this an escape driven by fear, or was she cleverly securing her future while she still could? Either way, her actions have left a gaping hole in Diddy's support system when he needs it most.
I think another question that we just can't ignore is the role of power. Because one question is, how does somebody become the way they are? And then another question is, how are they allowed to stay the way that they are? And I think that also speaks to this kind of, lack of accountability.
The impact on the Combs family? Absolutely heartbreaking. Diddy's children, already thrust into this media circus because of their father's legal troubles, are now grappling with their grandmother's shocking abandonment. Janice wasn't just any grandmother. She was their constant, their rock, always there at every red carpet event and family gathering. Now her sudden disappearance has left them completely shattered, according to one insider who's witnessed the family's devastation firsthand. You can't help but wonder how this will shape their view of both their father and grandmother moving forward.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
But here's where the plot thickens dramatically. The FBI is reportedly keeping a very close eye on Janice's disappearance. While she hasn't been charged with anything yet, her connection to Diddy's case makes her incredibly interesting to investigators. Some insiders are convinced it's just a matter of time before her name appears on a wanted list, especially if she's sitting on information crucial to the investigation. For now, though, she's like a ghost. Some say she's living it up in Europe, others swear she's hiding out in the Caribbean. Wherever she is, she's managed to stay completely off the grid. No small feat in our digital age. Now, let's dig into what her escape really means. First off, it paints a very different picture of someone who claimed to be innocent. While she's been publicly standing by Diddy, her actions scream self-preservation and possibly guilt. Could it be that she knows far more than she's letting on? And what does that mean for Diddy's case? Her absence could seriously undermine his legal team's strategy of painting him as a victim of circumstance when his biggest defender has apparently turned tail and run. Then there's the legacy aspect. Janice has always been this incredible symbol of resilience in the Combs family saga. A single mother who raised a music mogul against impossible odds. But now, her mysterious disappearance threatens to destroy everything she's built, casting dark shadows over her entire life's work. It just shows how quickly even the most carefully built reputations can crumble under pressure. As this drama continues to unfold, one thing's crystal clear. Janice's escape has added yet another layer of complexity to an already messy situation. Whether she's running from the law, the media's relentless spotlight, or her own guilty conscience, her actions have left behind a trail of questions that might never get answered. And while Diddy prepares for the fight of his life, he's doing it without the one person who's had his back for over 5 decades. The ripple effects? They're just beginning. And trust me, the consequences could be more explosive than anyone imagined.
Actually thought that he was above the law, so I can only, think that, he was sloppy in the way that he did these crimes, that there's probably a trail of evidence, not only involving him, but everybody in his circle that he would, delegate these responsibilities to. And those people are when they're...
Now, darlings, let's dive into Diddy's mounting legal troubles, because calling them overwhelming would be the understatement of the century. The charges he's facing aren't just serious, they're absolutely staggering, and they seem to multiply like rabbits with each passing day. We're talking about everything from coercion allegations to accusations about organizing elaborate gatherings with questionable guests. The list just goes on, and that's just the criminal side. On the civil front, it's raining lawsuits with attorney Tony Busby reportedly representing, are you sitting down, 120 accusers. Yes, you heard that right, 120. That number alone is enough to make your head spin. And while Diddy's legal team is working overtime to deny everything and paint him as the victim of exaggerated claims, the sheer volume of cases is impossible to ignore.
I feel like we're almost becoming numb to the lawsuit after the lawsuit after the lawsuit. And do all of the allegations against Combs so far that we've seen make the claims here, these new claims, do you think it makes it more or less true?
So how does Janice's dramatic exit fit into this explosive situation? Well, it's not just an emotional blow, it's a strategic nightmare. Remember, Janice was his most powerful defender, the one who stood up and called these allegations a public lynching. She was the family's moral compass, the one person who could truly speak to Diddy's character and upbringing. But now, with her mysterious vanishing act, it feels like even his closest allies are abandoning ship. And while nobody's saying it outright, the whispers are getting louder. Could Janice's disappearance mean she knows something the rest of us don't? Is there some shocking revelation still waiting to come to light? The financial situation? Absolutely dire, according to my impeccable sources. Diddy's facing a cash crisis that could seriously jeopardize his ability to mount a proper defense. These high-profile legal battles aren't cheap. We're talking about needing the absolute cream of the crop when it comes to lawyers. But with Janice allegedly taking a substantial portion of his remaining funds during her hasty exit, his financial resources are stretched thinner than ever. And those settlements? While Diddy's team keeps insisting that settling doesn't mean admitting guilt, the payouts have reportedly been astronomical. Each settlement takes another massive bite out of his fortune, leaving less and less for his defense strategy. But the money troubles don't stop at legal fees. Diddy's entire business empire, once the crown jewel of his success story, is showing serious cracks. From his music label to his fashion ventures and that spirits brand he was so proud of, everything's under intense scrutiny. Sponsors are running for the hills, partnerships are dissolving faster than sugar in hot tea, and public perception, it's shifting dramatically. Even his most loyal business collaborators are reportedly distancing themselves, desperate to avoid being tainted by the growing scandal. It's like watching dominoes fall. One piece goes down, threatening to bring the entire structure crashing with it. The family dynamic has been absolutely shattered. Janice's disappearance has left this enormous void that nobody seems capable of filling. Diddy's children, already struggling with the media circus surrounding their father, now have to process their grandmother's apparent abandonment. Remember, Janice wasn't just any grandmother. She was their everything, the glue holding the family together. She was there for every milestone, school events, red carpet appearances, family vacations. Her sudden vanishing act feels like the ultimate betrayal. Inside sources tell me the atmosphere in the Combs household is beyond tense. Everyone's walking on eggshells, terrified about what shocking revelation might come next. The emotional toll on Diddy himself is devastating. Sources close to the music mogul say he's wrestling with profound feelings of betrayal and confusion. He keeps asking why his mother would abandon him during the most critical moment of his life. Some insiders suggest her actions have forced him to question everything: his upbringing, his relationships, even the people he thought he could trust most. It's a crushing blow, and the timing couldn't possibly be worse. What's truly fascinating, or deeply troubling depending on your perspective, is how public opinion is playing into all of this. Diddy has always been a master at controlling his narrative, using his charisma and influence to shape how the world sees him. But this time, the story's slipping right through his fingers. Social media is absolutely exploding with theories and speculation. Hashtags like Diddy downfall and Combs chaos are trending almost daily. While some loyal fans are still standing by him, insisting he's the victim of a calculated smear campaign, others are becoming increasingly skeptical, pointing to the mounting evidence and demanding to know how much more needs to come out before people accept the accusations. And darlings, we simply must talk about these explosive documentaries that are hitting streaming platforms like wildfire. From Peacock's Diddy, the Making of a Bad Boy, to Discovery's The Fall of Diddy, these exposés are painting an absolutely shocking picture of a man whose empire might have been built on secrets and scandal. Each documentary seems to bring more explosive revelations, new witnesses stepping forward, and fresh reasons to question everything about Diddy's legacy. While his legal team keeps trying to dismiss these films as sensationalized and one-sided, they can't deny the impact they're having on public perception. After all, in the ruthless court of public opinion, perception becomes reality. And right now, that reality looks absolutely devastating. One of the most shocking aspects of these documentaries is how they're connecting Diddy's past to his present troubles. Childhood friends like Tim Patterson have come forward with stories that suggest the seeds of his current scandals were planted decades ago. Patterson's revelations about those wild gatherings at Janice's house, where absolutely anything seemed possible, have added more fuel to this raging fire. And while Diddy has always been open about his rough upbringing and life challenges, these new revelations cast his past in an entirely different, much darker light. There's a world of difference between overcoming adversity and perpetuating the very behaviors that once caused such pain. Even more disturbing are the testimonials from former employees, ex-partners, and industry insiders. These aren't just random people looking for their 15 minutes of fame. These are individuals who were once part of Diddy's inner circle. Their stories paint a chilling picture of a man who allegedly used his power and influence to get whatever he wanted, often at others' expense. Whether it's former girlfriends sharing troubling encounters or employees describing a toxic work environment, the narrative remains disturbingly consistent. Diddy was apparently obsessed with control, and when that control was challenged, things allegedly turned very ugly. And we simply cannot ignore Janice's role in all of this drama. While she's been portrayed as a loving but flawed mother, her disappearance raises so many disturbing questions about what she might have known. Was she aware of these allegations before they became public? Did she perhaps enable some of her son's alleged behavior, either directly or by turning a blind eye? Does her sudden departure suggest guilt, or is she simply trying to protect herself? These questions might never get answered, but they add yet another layer of intrigue to this already complicated story. As the trial date approaches, the stakes for Diddy couldn't possibly be higher. This isn't just about clearing his name anymore. It's about salvaging whatever he can of his legacy. But with each new revelation, each additional lawsuit, and now the added drama of his mother's mysterious disappearance, it's becoming increasingly difficult to see a path forward. His empire, once a symbol of triumph and resilience, now seems more like a house of cards on the verge of collapse. Yet despite everything, there's still this lingering uncertainty. Could Diddy somehow manage to turn this all around? Or are we truly witnessing the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's most iconic figures? Will Janice eventually resurface and explain her actions? Or will her disappearance remain one of the great unsolved mysteries of this saga? And perhaps most importantly, as the dust continues to settle, or rather, as this storm continues to rage, one thing remains crystal clear. This story is far from over. In fact, it feels like we're only beginning to uncover the truth. So stay tuned, my dear viewers, because if there's one thing we've learned about the Combs family, it's that life for them is anything but predictable. And as this drama continues to unfold, one can't help but wonder what shocking revelation will come next. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more celebrity gossip and intriguing stories. Until next time, stay curious. Stay curious. Stay curious.